Uh, my name is Yvonne Walsh, it's a Speaker in J. My guest this evening is the Councilman from the Heights, Michael Yun, Ward D. Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you for the invitation. Okay.
And before we get to the budget, we're going to talk about the next councilman for Ward B and the fact that you people, the council in general, will be voting on him. So how do you feel about that process?
You know, so actually mayor, as you know, that decides which person you'd like to have replace Ward B councilman. I understand, I got no objection with about him, but my concern is that processing is the issue. You have to be open processing, and they have to be well-informed the public and the council members, because council members, we are the one actually will select, replace the Ward B councilman. But today is actually Wednesday. I got all the 14 resume to Tuesday, yesterday, and we're gonna go for pass the resolution tomorrow. So in 2 days, I just get the piece of paper resume. We not select street sweepers, we not select window cleaner, one a simple job. The city councilman's role is a very complicated role we have to provide. We're not only going to decide based on the resume, we have to see the person, and we got to speak with them, we got to hear their policy platform, what is the plan for Ward B, what I'm saying? So if we're not selected by, public election, but actually it's a small election through among the council members. But unfortunately that processing is missing that the most important part of that. Now we're going to select, not select, and we're going to pass a resolution to a certain person to appoint a council person, and tomorrow, Thursday, I think it's not fair to the public, I think it's not fair to the general member of the council members also.
So you're having a 2-day window to select this, even though the mayor had the resumes for the last several weeks.
Yes.
So he's pushing it down your throats. I was somewhat shocked by the comment that was raised by the council president, Rolando, who basically, when Bogiano asked for them, according to the newspaper article, he was said to stop it, like you can't ask for this. Yet I was present when they went to appoint as judge Ray Velasquez, who was on the council, and they went through the whole process saying, well, we need more information before we make the... And they actually had his resume, but they wouldn't appoint him, calling him Healy's crony, which I thought was totally unfortunate.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
And I thought that was wrong. But besides the fact, I know, hopefully everyone will have the chance to do this.
So my plan is that tomorrow, when you have a special meeting for appointed councilperson Ward D, I'm going to make a motion to allow to all the candidates like 5 minutes to present themselves. So I ask that the council president request that invite all the candidate to special meetings. So we'll see how they're going to be.
Well, we'll do it or not.
Yes.
Okay, basically we're here thinking about the budget, and now we're talking about the city's budget, which you read, and I'll tell the public, when I go to the caucus meeting, this guy is there with his book, with all these yellow pages. He actually reads everything, which shocks me. The last council person we had do this was going back in the 90s. We had a person from Ward F who actually read everything with little notes all over the place. So you read this, and I'm really happy because you raised a lot of issues that are lost in the budget. But one of the things I've noticed, I'm going back to the last budget that Healy voted on. Healy's last budget he voted on, put together, was 2012. He did not do the 2013 budget, but 2012. And the budget in his time was $485 million. 4 years later, the budget is now $555 million, and an increase of $68 million. And now there's more spending going on. 320 more people on the payroll, and that number is actually quite small according to Civic JC. There's actually more people, but I'm talking about what was reported in the budget. So what is your idea about the increase of spending and the lack of a desk audit that's going on?
Well, they come on like they hired 320 more people, so we understand, but we understand not all 320 people is new. Because of that, some people is retired, so we have to replace. So 320 people is not added to, but actually total employee is not as much as a 320 increase, So, so So 320 is not a whole lot because the people retire, police officers, firefighters, and the general non-uniformed people. So probably overall maybe 200 people, maybe 150 people increase.
Increase. So whatever happened to this promise of a desk order by the mayor? Did you ever have that?
Well, I asked several times about it because 2013, when we talk about the 2013 budget, I demand that because at the time, mayor tried to increase 8% the property tax. I'm not happy with that because I saw at the time the Hillary administration left $45 million surplus. So there was no reason we have to increase 8% the property tax. But politically, when the new mayors walk in, that's the first and maybe can be last excuse blame to somebody else.
Okay, so where did that money go besides that $45 million? I know you wanted to have that money being used to build a new city hall annex.
Yes.
Obviously, we're going to bond for that.
Yes,
so,
you know that, right?
Well, yeah, so where is that money, where did that money go to?
See now, so Mayor Hillary, I think major mistake he made is that he didn't look at the budget books, city books now more close enough, he doesn't understand that why we have $45 million surplus, not spending money in the bank. So this is what happened. Our mayor elected Steve Fuller increased 8%. So that bring up to probably almost $20 million extra. So Hillary left $45 million plus he increased $20 million actually tax. So he got $65 million there. So
the 8% increase.
Right. So 2014, he used $60 million out of surplus.
Wow.
Yes. 2015, he used $25 million. This year, 2016, he used another $20 million surplus. So he able to do stabilize the tax. Because of that, thank you to our former mayor Jeremy Lee, he left a $45 million surplus.
So he has to really send a thank you letter to Mayor Healy because Mayor Healy basically.
Yes, yes, he got to thank you to former mayor Jeremy Healy to leave us a $45 million surplus.
Now this is what get me. Now there was an article in the Jersey Journal recently by Terrence McDonald, the reporter, and it had to do with Jersey City best practices. And I read it because I remember when this was introduced in the city council, into the council. And in here it has number 28, and it says, "Does your municipality have a written policy for the amount of surplus available in support of the municipal operations and its goal evaluated annually?" So I requested a copy for this, and I waited and waited, and no response. So at the last council meeting, the business administrator was there, and I said, you weren't there previously. I sent an email to the clerk. Nothing happened, so I'm asking you, So when I get home that evening, he emailed me something, and I'm reading through it, and it has nothing to do with the surplus. It is actually the mayor's program on fiscal oversight and management. But as I read this, there's nothing in there about the surplus that the city said yes to at all.
Actually, you're the person to attend all the city council meetings, so you were there. Actually, 2014, when we talk about surplus, I brought the issue. Do we have a policy for surplus? They say yes. Can I have a copy? Over the 2 years, I never received any copy for the policy copy. But now, you remember that 2014, when they tried to city hall annex building, when I tried to build city hall annex building. So I raised a concern is that, listen, instead of issue a bond, we have a $45 million surplus, plus we increase 8% the property tax. We have almost a $60-some million a year. Why? We have a bond. We have money to build our own. You know what? They say, Councilman, we cannot do that because if we look at the record, probably you see that, we cannot, we have a certain amount of surplus we require. If we not have lower surplus, it's going to increase our bond interest, so and so. So they blocked what my proposal. But actually, till today, I didn't see any policy.
There is no. The city said yes to the state, and to me, the city is deceptive because what they have here has nothing to do with it. Basically, what this says is that the council meet annually to discuss the budget, but there's no policy on the surplus at all.
Right.
And on top of that, don't forget, the mayor kept the $31.5 million surplus from the MUA, which is so supposed to go back to taxpayers.
See,
that's another one.
Yes. So now we have to be understand. As you mentioned, over the 3 years we increased our budget is $68 million.
Yeah.
And then we increased our budget $68 million, but our property tax didn't increase over the 3 years because people have to understand. JCMUA, they have a huge surplus because they charge unnecessary fee increase over the years. That's why they have so much surplus. And now we got our own surplus, plus we take out from the JCMUA their surplus.
Yeah.
So when we look at it, people not pay upfront for property tax, but they got their high water bills, high sewer bill.
Yeah.
We got backdoor tax.
It's a backdoor tax, and you can lose your property if you're behind in your taxes and your water. So this
Yes.
is, to me, an immoral thing to do. I
Yes.
mean, people, and we're talking about people need affordable housing. For some reason, that is skipping the people who pay the taxes. They're not getting affordable housing at all.
As you say, you're right. Especially fixed income senior homeowners, and people who just make to own the house is a very, those kind of people hit the very
it's not
hard.
just that. You could be in your work, you could be in your 30s or 40s. If you lose your job,
Yes,
you
I
must
agree
pay
with
your
you.
bill. I
Yes.
mean, it's not just, for one. Then on top of that, which I want to bring up, is that I look through the budget from Healy and I look through the budget under the present administration. We have gone up $10 million in fees. So from what Healy was charging in fees for construction, whatever, as you know, for the council, the fees have increased. It's really $10 million in all those fees that we're collecting every year. So in addition to, quote, there's no tax increase, in actuality, there's more spending increase. We have more fees increase, the MUAs increase.
Yes.
It's just ridiculous. The bond debt, what really scares me is how much money we're paying in bond debt. Many years ago, it was early 1990, the Heights was very active coming down the City Hall.
Yes.
And we had they were very upset when the city was now paying $20 million a year in bond debt. Now we're paying, what, $65 million, $70 million in bond debt?
So per year we pay $67 million
Yeah.
for debt service per annually. So we gotta pay whatever we collect the tax, $67 million out of our revenue from the property tax. We have to reserve that pay the bond.
We got to pay the bond, yeah. So we're basically, a lot of things we're doing, we're just basically bonding for the next generation. I mean, we're still paying for the fiasco of Jerry McCann, and I bring this up at the last council meeting. In 1990, they changed the law from fiscal year to calendar year. And when they did that, the state of New Jersey said, we're not going to give you any state aid for that year. You can bond for that. So most communities bond very little amount of money. Jersey City got something like $60 million. We bonded $128 million. That bond, we're still paying the interest on that bond.
See, it's Yvonne, that issue bond, we understand sometimes. So whatever we collect the tax is not enough to improve the infrastructure city of Jersey. So like a fix the park, so on. So I understand that part of it. So we issue bond for the capital improvement. But now, my concern is that we are over bond.
We're over
In other
bond.
words, last year to 2014, we issue bond $36 million. Over the 2 years, 2014, 15, 16, as of today, we only able to spend $10 million. But we bond $36 million. So $26 million, over the 2 years, we're not able to spend the money in the bank. Meantime, we pay for interest and the principal for something we're not able to use it. This is wrong. Now, as you know, weeks ago, City Council approved another $26 million a bond.
Yeah.
So at the City Council meeting, I bring up the issue. Listen, 2014, we issued $36 million bond. We only able to spend $10 million, and $26 million we're not able to spend till today. Now we're going to issue another $26 million bond. To me, doesn't make any sense at all. So if we issue bond now, $52 million bond, which we're not able to spend on time, and in the meantime we gotta pay the principal and interest.
Yeah.
It's a cost to taxpayer. So when I look at it as government, the government is something is wrong here. They just thought about collecting the money from the taxpayer, but they not have a plan for how we're going to save our taxpayer dollars.
But it's more than just that. They're giving money and fees to the bond council.
Yes,
These are the people who buy the tickets to these campaigns, contributions. Though, I mean, you look at them, they're not Jersey City people. I mean, most of them is out of state. These are the bond councils and whatnot. So yeah, we're keeping bond council people, you know, in the business, and it's absolutely wrong.
So this is my concern is that. So now we printed the $100,000 fix the elevator in City Hall, 2014. Did we fix that? No.
No, we didn't.
They put in the budget 2014, $500,000 to fix the stairs in the City Hall entrance. Did we fix all the tweets? No.
No, we didn't.
We set aside a couple $100,000, improved the bathroom in the City Hall building. Today, no.
And that's what they're not fixed, but the money is there.
So all here and there, almost $26 million, we bond, we got money, we're not able to spend. You know, so now add to now we issue another $26 million. It makes sense?
Yeah,
No.
and I brought that up at the last council meeting because I always ask this, and I saw this happen a lot under the Shundle administration and under the McCann administration, is that the bonds are not matching how many years, their lifespan. So one of my concerns I did ask is that how long is this bond? And they said it was 13 years. I said, well, do you have things in there that is shorter than 13 years? And they admit they're bonding for software, which is something like 7 years.
Yes. So when they issue, when you issue a $26 million bond, it's $26 million old bond not pay off in 13 years. Some bond is 7 years, some bond 10 years, 12 years. It's all different based on where we're going to spend, you know, where we're going to invest the money.
They end up, unfortunately, refinancing these bonds over and over again. The reason why, I'm going back to fiscal year adjustment bond under Jerry McCann, that bond should be paid off 20 years, a 20-year bond. It now is being a 34-year bond. That money was already spent. I mean, we're still paying bonds on cars, Jeeps, I should say Jeeps, that have been, you know, junked. We gave them away. So there's no oversight on these bonds being refinanced over again. And while you may decide this is wrong, another council down the road may decide, well, this is an emergency, we've got to refinance these bonds, and they find a way to do this. So the debt in Jersey City is a stranglehold. You can't do capital improvements because of this debt.
We have to be understand that, you know, as I mentioned, we pay annually $67 million, you know, pay the principal interest.
Yeah.
But we have to look at how much total outstanding balance we have for that. You know how much is it? Approximately $670 million.
Yeah, I know.
It's outstanding balance we have there. It's a serious, you know.
It's a serious issue, and like I said, I tell the story, you know, all the time. I lived near City Hall, you know, in the 70s. I used to go to the meetings all the time, and in the 1970s, I wish I kept it with me. My first budget hearing was $90 million. Now, it's now $533 million, but $90 million took 300 years to get to that point.
Yes.
So you're talking about 300 years to get to $90 million, whereas it takes, Shundler's last budget in the year 2000 was $312 million. So it's just like, it's just going up so fast. And don't forget, the interest rates today are near zero, and it's still going up. It's one thing in the 70s, I mean, my husband and I, we bought a home. Interest rates was like 18 and 19%. And yet, today, interest rates are very low, and the city's debt is so high.
Yes.
People got to realize that does not make sense.
You see, not only that debt issue, bond issue, but also we have to understand that over budgeting. If we see that the budget book, they have two portions. One is classified, so they tell the exact detailed information how much they're going to spend for each item. But if we see that the unclassified budget, so now very simple. This year they actually over budgeted almost $8 million. $8 million. What that means that 2015, City of Jersey paid PSNG for street lighting, electric bill, $2.7 million last year. But this year we budgeted $3.2 million, like $500,000 more than actually we paid last year. Electric bill not going to increase over 2006, 2000, not going to increase $500,000.
No, it's not.
So now, and electric, city, municipal government have office electric, so and so. And the same things. Last year we paid $2.6 million, but this year we put in the budget like $3.2 million. Office service, last year we spent $2.2 million, but this year we put $2.8 million. And the rent even itself, the last year we paid the rent for the government office here and there we rent, $2.1 million, but we printed the budget $2.5 million. So all those items added, we almost $8 million over budgeted what we need.
What you need.
This is a problem too.
Yeah, well, that's a way of hiring more people that you may need, because if the mayor runs for governor, he's going to get operatives, and you can put them on the payroll, and those people can do city work as well as your campaign work. No one's going to be there to watch them.
See, now, I was a joke was that the people asking, Michael, Councilman, how we can lower our property tax? I say that very simply. Actually, if you look at our property tax, the revenue, $553 million. Actually, $225 million come from the taxpayer.
Yeah.
Property tax. Let's say 10% from the 225, $20 million. So I joke with them, if I elect the mayor, I can lower the property tax 10% right there.
Right.
Because if we save $20 million, it's not that much, because a lot of items we are over budgeting.
Yeah.
And actually we issue unnecessary bond, while we issue bond too early than what time we need. So all those kind of expenses actually hurt the taxpayers.
Well, a great example is that I asked the city council at the business administrator at the council meeting about this I think it was $6 million bond. I said, what is this for? It didn't make sense. It was not very clear when I read it. So, and that was a bond set aside for the lawsuit against the 6th Street abatement. And
this was a 6.
Yeah, that's what I was told by that. And they're using that money. That was supposed to be called a settlement. It wasn't accepted. So they're using that money as the legal fees. So that's like very few of that money has been spent according to the city, according to the business administrator.
Oh, I think they're violating the law.
Well, that's what I was told at the meeting.
Because of that bond, if issued for the acquisition of the land of the bank,
Yeah.
then they're not money supposed not used for legal fee. That's what I understand.
Well, this is what I brought up at the last meeting. I can forward you later the what I brought up. But it was like the description. I always read what it's for, and when it's very, very vague. If it satisfies my curiosity, I won't bring it up. But when it's very, very vague, I brought it up. It did not make sense what this bond was for. And that's when I was told it was 6th Street abatement.
But unfortunately, I was community leaders and the businessmen many years. So, when you look at the government itself,
Yeah.
a lot of things, it doesn't make any sense at all. Sometimes I believe that in the government today, one thing they're missing is a common sense. So it's a problem, If that is your money to spend like that, they're never going to do it probably.
No.
But they have a feel already like somebody's money that we're going to spend. That kind of attitude causes problem.
Oh, of course it's going on. What's happening right now, even with the reval, stopping it means we still owe that company money. We're going to have to pay that up. We're going to have to pay their legal fees, and then the state's going to say to us, well, do another reval. So that whole process may be $8 million because of...
Yes.
And it's ridiculous to do that. There's no town in the state of New Jersey that cannot do a reval.
See, another one is that also, state order to us that they have to be reval finished next year, 2017, November.
Yeah.
November 2017. In order to do that, this council have to take actions, and the mayor take action. We gotta looking for a company.
Yeah.
We gotta make sure that some money have to reserve that in the budget 2016 for 2017 budget. But I didn't see any numbers. That their budget for
No, I didn't either.
rebels,
I didn't either.
Seems like we're missing something,
Yeah, it is. There's a lot going on that does not make sense at all. The budget is a very big budget. I do enjoy the fact that the state is doing the friendly budget now. It makes it more simpler in terms of understanding what's going on. But there's, from my point of view, my biggest concern always have been the tax abatement, and you vote no on many of them, but 1/3 of Jersey City is it's not contributing to the schools. And the state will cut back. I mean, it's not how you look at it. The state
Yes.
will come back, and to continue on that policy, the state, if the state is not paying the pensions, why will they continue on, giving all this money? You go to Bayonne. Bayonne had the same type of children that we have. It's no different from the children that we have.
See, it's as you just mentioned to that. Yes, tax abatement is a problem to the future of Jersey City.
Yeah.
They're not contributing to school tax, as you know, and they only contribute to 5% of county tax. So now what happened that there were tax abatement. When I say that one of the major issues, first things, school tax. Let's say today's Board of Ed, the total budget is almost over $660 million.
Yeah.
From that, City of Jersey contribute like almost $110 million a year.
Actually, this year it's going to be 114, but
114, right? So the last time it's 110. Now increase of $4 million dollars, and the state contribute like a $450 million or whatever, $480 million dollars. So now when the state say enough is enough, we gonna freeze our contribution. Then City of Jersey have to pick up the whatever's the difference. So now this is really going to cause problem,
Yeah, but
So now, not only that, another one is that their calculation should the population.
Yeah.
If we see tax abatement, when they build up 3 towers in Journal Square, total student calculation probably come up 15 kids.
I know.
When we change that formula, when I do that, we expect around 150 kids from that area.
Yeah.
So now there are a lot of issues there, but those kind of issues over to solve that. We gotta prepare for now. But this administration and this council ready to do that? I don't think so.
But you see, the council does not understand this. And I remember when Jerry McCann was mayor, he wanted to cut the school budget. And the state told him no. And the state froze our contribution in 1990 to $72 million. And it remained that way until 2005. In 2005, they started to lift it. So we went from $72 million now up to 114 million. But it's been a very slow increase.
Yes.
But people do not realize that. And I can see, the state is saying, the Abbott districts, they're wealthy people here in Jersey City, so why don't they contribute more money? It's a common sense scenario. If you can afford $500,000 condos, then why aren't you contributing to the city school budget? It's common sense.
Yes. I think you just mentioned to that, when our mayor campaigned outside of Jersey City, I think that is one of the major issues to them, because other town they contribute their school budget almost 100%.
Yeah.
And now, when you campaign the other town, the people are going to ask, Jersey is doing so great, but why still state to New Jersey have to contribute $480 million?
Yeah.
You have to be answered that. I think it's going to be tough questions.
One of the things that people may not be aware of it, if you go and look online at the town that has the most permit being pulled in the state, it's Jersey City. So Jersey City, compared to all the other towns across the state, has the most development. So if we have the most development, that means people want to live here. So why are we giving away the city with tax abatements? They're not giving out these kind of permits in other towns, which do not give out abatements. So it's kind of like their reason for it doesn't make sense. If we're the city that has the most permits being pulled because people want to live here.
See, another one you have to look at it. Even though we give to better deal for the tax-oriented developer, if they have no demand, they're not going to build. So their high-rise building, they always come up two excuses. One, creative job, and the second, they're going to help the local economy. But I don't believe that, because the higher creative job in Jersey City, all the past 10 years, the data clear. They say that they hired less than 2% of people of Jersey City.
Well, it's just even more than that. Healy's last tax abatement in Journal was actually the building Kennedy Lofts. They got a 12-year tax abatement. And as you know, they come along, and several weeks ago, that tax abatement, they got a similar one, a smaller project really, 25 years. So under one mayor, they get 12 years. Under another mayor, they get 25 years. It's just what they're willing, they know how to negotiate.
See, I'm going to add to your explanation. One other issue is that tax abatement not only term is not an issue. Long term is the issue now because after our mayor get elected, he gave a lot of 30 years long term tax, as you know, so many different places. But not only term issue. When I look at the financial agreement, they have a fee issue. Previous administration, actually they charge 15% of annual gross revenue.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they charge very high. But this administration, they only charge 7, 8, 10, highest one I see that 12%. So in other words, we give away a city of Jersey City,
Well, I have to tell you, when Jerry McCann was mayor and even Cucci was mayor, when they did affordable housing, they charged 15% annual interest contribution to the city, which is now they're charging 6.28%. So it's like previous administration required more money from affordable housing,
Right.
and now we're charging less.
Yes.
And you have to understand this, with affordable housing, the person is only paying 1/3 their income. So it doesn't really matter if they're charging 6.28% or they're charging 15%. They're just basically, it doesn't impact them at all. They just pay 1/3 their income. What's happening is the developer is getting more money.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about.
Thank you for you understand the fact. So problem with tax in Jersey City, major two. One is a term, the long term. Number two, fee. We charge a too low fee.
Too low a fee. And
Yes, that is a hurt to taxpayer Jersey City because meantime, we have to be our increase of the municipal service cost continue increase, but they pay fee is less than 2012, 13.
Yeah.
That is the problem,
that's what it is. Well, it's been very nice speaking to you. I hope you do look after my interest in my pocketbook. I'm very happy as a taxpayer in Jersey City that you look after the pocketbook of Jersey City, because very few council people have the time to do that, and I do appreciate it. Everyone has their strengths, and yours is the budget, and that's very, very good. And I know you get services for your people up here, because they're very happy about that.
I'll do my best, but actually we are short of the manpowers. This size of city should we have like a full-time council and at least 2 full-time aid required.
Of course.
If the taxpayers are looking for the service, what they deserve that. But unfortunately, we have a part-time council and the part-time aid. We only can do so much. As you say, we have so many issues. This is one of the largest cities in the state of New Jersey. But unfortunately, I only can provide services so much. But I'll do my best with what I have.
Well, yeah, one of the things that really bothers me is that the mayor is telling the council that they can't do certain things, and it is under the Faulkner Act your right to inquire about certain things, and he's saying no to you, and I think that is wrong. So speaking up on the issue of picking the new council, who would be on the budget, these are your rights under the Faulkner Act.
Yes.
And I know, and I'm glad that some of you are speaking on these issues. So thank you very much.
Thank you.